That was my last one of my prior incarnations. Why I love peace so much. You know, I don't have to keep a sword by my side anymore. Um, my daughter was in Scotland a few years ago, and she said she went to the famous battleground site, and she's had this profound um, awareness. She said, came back. She said, "Dad, you died here." I said, "Yeah, I did, but I'm back." Uh, so, um, so welcome to oneness. Welcome to unity. Um, I'm a guest speaker as an interfaith minister. I love unity. Just the name itself says it all. And I picked the Namod songs to me, he's the modern George Harrison troubadour, you know, and I got to love him to pieces. And so thrilled that Prem Daya and Sandra got to hang out with them. I'm just so delighted that they got to do that and get that personal experience. When I first heard him sing at a church in Fremont, California. They flew him in from Southern California, and he belted out the songs like I'd never heard anybody in church do before. And he told us that his doctor told him, "You can't keep doing that. You're going to lose everything. You're blowing your thorax. What do you call that thing in your throat?" Yeah, larynx. Yeah. But I noticed he kept doing it, not as much, but he kept going. I mean, the man is full of spirit, full of spirit. So the reason I wanted to talk about peace today was really just to take off from the pole out in front and the ceremony that we had to celebrate peace. And we physically planted the pole in the ground as a huge symbolic message to each other and to the world, and it serves as a reminder. To me, it serves as a reminder, just like the Jewish symbol on the front door, the mezuzah. Yes, to me that means a lot. It's a reminder of who we are in physical form. And that's what we need. I mean, we're gathering in physical form. We're these amazing spirits, but we're gathering in physical form right now, which is, man, that's a great gift. And so the pole significance serves as a reminder that peace is our birthright. It's who we are. It's what we are. It is our essential nature. So if it's our essential nature, why do we need to talk about it? You know, why do we need this discussion? Well, folks, you know, for many incarnations, we've been kind of towing the other line. We're climbing the tree of separation and doubt, and you know, we had to survive on this plane that we created so long ago. We forgot that we were the masters that put it together in the first place. So what's occurring now is we're awakening, and it's a collective thing. We're all doing it to one degree or another, but it's happening. The world is shifting, and as the world awakens, it appears rather chaotic. And so chaos is part of the undoing of the illusion of separation. It offers simply choice. It gives us an opportunity to choose fear or love every day. And several times a day if you watch the news. And so what's happening is all of our inner fears, doubts, and little niggling things, that could be large or small, they're coming up for all of us. They're coming up for all of us to heal, to have a choice, to remember that we have a choice. It's all very attitudinal. Diane's got a book on that. So I said the inner peace is the only peace possible. I've worked with a lot of people who've worked real hard for peace, but they were so full of anxiety that basically they were frantic, and it was hard to be around them as they were, marching for peace or carrying the sign of peace. So it seemed to work from my observation as we embody peace and anchor ourselves within it. Then we can listen to our calling. And sometimes our calling is to go out there and raise hell for peace. But you're coming from a peaceful place. And so as we operate in life, it's helpful to remember that each person's nature is sovereign. Who and what we are sovereign spiritual beings. As some part of God, we are our own authority, and to the degree that we claim it. And we're our own authority whether we claim it or not. But the bottom line is we stand in our power when we realize that not even God is going to try and manipulate us. Couldn't. So we have free will. So we have the free will to explore possibilities on a personal level. The only level that's possible. You can't do it for me, I can't do it for you. And that's what all the great masters are saying. I'm getting ahead of myself, but what did they say? They can't do us for us. They can't do it for us. They can lead us, inspire us, but we have to walk across the threshold into our own clarity. And it's the movement that's happening now, the awakening that is occurring now, let's just say, is not stoppable. It is happening. It is happening. We are evolving into or returning, I would say more returning to our essential nature, which is Christ-like. It is, if you're into Buddhism, it's the Buddha nature. I happen to just adore the teacher Paramahansa Yogananda, whose message was love and peace. Yogananda taught me who Jesus was, because he was just here and I read his autobiography. Now, Jesus didn't leave us an autobiography he's doing it now. He's speaking through many people, including Judith. Mark Hammer in the past channeled The Way of Mastery, the book that opened my eyes so that they could see themselves. So these folks are here to celebrate our oneness. And as we join in that celebration, we get to join in the party, because that's what it's about. Now, our potential is only limited by our belief in what is possible. That's so for all of us. And we know of people that didn't believe that gravity could anchor them, so they could levitate. We know more. This is esoteric stuff, but we've all looked into it at some point. And I can't honestly say that I've done that physically. I can walk on water like Jesus, but a little lower than Jesus. My feet usually touch the gravel, which is what I was doing last week. I was camping on the Payette River in the Rocky Mountains of Idaho, seeking out with some friends hot springs, undeveloped hot springs. So you really had to watch your step. But I found a few pools that I could lay back in and listen to the sound of the river and the hot water cascading off the rocks and making that beautiful melody of joy and peace. And you talk about anchoring or grounding yourself. There's nothing like grounding yourself in warm water out in nature. Only time I've ever done it was last week. But it was a manifestation of something that I had always desired, but couldn't really put it into form. I couldn't say, this is exactly what I wanted to do. But once I was there, I knew my soul was in the right place. And that's what I love. It's like the one presence and the one power receives the impress of your thought and acts upon it always. As Jesus put it, I thank thee, Father, that thou hast heard me. I thank thee that thou hearest me always. And sometimes we don't hear the quiet little thing, but then it shows up in front of us and go, yeah, I've always wanted to do this. So we know the truth. Each one of us knows the truth of who and what we are. So we can't teach truth, but what we can do is develop skills to uncover those truths and to release the blocks that we have to our own inner truth. And I think that's what it's all about. To bring the blocks to light is like you're working in a mine. It's hard rock mining, and it's hard work. This is not easy. We know it's not easy. We encounter terror and grief and sadness and loss and all the things that we encounter in our hard rock mine. But then we get to the gold vein, the vein of truth, the vein of gold. And we realize why we've been doing this work, why we're willing to literally come here and incarnate on this planet, to awaken to who and what we are. And it ain't always easy, folks. I mean, I know everybody here could tell me that. I'm just speaking your truth right here. So what we're doing is exploring possibilities. So in cultivating inner peace is one of the possibilities, but it's very selfish. Inner peace? Who am I to have inner peace when the world's on fire, literally on fire? It is selfish in the capital S sense, as Jesuit used to say quite often through Judy. Capital S, selfish, self. It's honoring what Spirit has created, you and me. Oh my goodness. So if you're cultivating any kind of loving joy, inner peace, you're actually honoring your Creator. And that's what I love about the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're witnessing to their Creator. But we don't have to go out in the streets and do that. We can do that within. And I don't know, I get high as a kite when I think about things and have them synchronistically manifest in my life. And God's sneaky. I mean, she's not going to tell you, hey, about around the corner, you're going to run into so-and-so and you're going to have a great time, or you're going to see this, have this experience, and it's going to blow your mind. Nah, she just leaves you alone to discover it for yourself. So it's not a straight path. It's not a straight path. Sometimes love and peace and joy involve sickness and sadness and sorrow, and opportunity, if we choose to look at it that way. And then poof, as if a miracle happens, you find yourself on the other side of the tragedies that we experience and go, oh, whew. I mean, wow, I'm glad that's over with. I have a perspective now that I never had before. I'm no longer angry at that former spouse. I've recovered some of my financial wealth, which was gone, and realized that, wow, happiness, joy, peace, these are the treasures. Love. But you can't wait. This is the key. If you want to know, I'm going to tell you. The key to happiness. It's to not wait for wars to end, administrations to change, family members to awaken, health issues to resolve. If we wait for these things before we're at peace and at joy, we got thousands of years to go. And so I haven't got that far yet. So everything has to become visible. Things come up to be healed in the light of awareness and comprehension. So all this messy stuff that we're seeing in the world today, it had to come up. It's always been there because it came out of separation. Thousands of years of believing that we were separate from God and each other. Well, God. And as we awaken, so these things come up. But if we get caught up in fear, that's when we need to get back together with our beloved friends and rest a bit. Or as my friend would say, go get a brace and bit and brace a bit. He was a carpenter, right? That's an inside joke. So what we need to do, and I highlighted this. I highlighted all of it. But we need to put an end to justifying separation, the rightness of a position that we have that keeps us separate. Like that bad thing that happened, those bad people that are doing those bad things. And we stand in our rightness, our justification, or that terrible thing that happened. I mean, there's so many ways to justify that we are separate from our highest good. We talk ourselves down. I'm speaking from my own experience. So when I look in the mirror, I go, oh God, how come, what took you so long? Well, innumerable masters have pointed the way. I've been so fortunate with some of my teachers. Patricia Sun was this lovely speaker. I used to go see her in Berkeley, and she was psychic. She could read the room. I've met people since then, but she could answer questions that people had. They'd go up to the mic and they'd say, can you answer this question for me? And they wouldn't say a thing. And she'd go, oh yeah. She'd respond to their silent question. And then at the same time, I had another teacher called Sun Bear, who was a shaman that was going around the world teaching people native wisdom from a very loving place. And I was at a retreat that he did in the mountains of Northern California, and he's teaching all this loving wisdom. And he had done the sun dance where they hook the hooks in you and you go around a pole and you this painful thing. I'm not, these days I don't do that sort of thing. I mean, in the old days, the priests would whip themselves. Well, this is similar in a way, but when he's done, they would stand in a row and the shaman would come along, spit on their wounds, and they would heal overnight. I mean, they witnessed miracles. They suffered to open their minds, but then didn't stay there. They didn't promote that as a practice. That what they promoted was, look where we are. The very skies are alive. The waters have life. Sound has life. Light has life. We can't get away from it. So why would we want to? Well, it turns out the longest journey that anyone will ever take is less for me than a lot of people, 16 inches from your mind to your heart. We tend to overthink things. And the mind was meant to be, and I'm quoting Jesus here, so if you don't believe me, just ask Jesus. Or you could ask me and I'll tell you again. But the mind is supposed to be a servant of the heart. And if you look around, you see incredibly intelligent people around us. Everybody, not everybody displays it, but when you look, you find people that are so intelligent. And if intelligence could save us from ourselves, we wouldn't be having wars and conflicts. We would have been in paradise long ago. So the matter is dropping into your heart. And again, that's a choice that we make. And if I wait for my brother to get his stuff together, I'm going to still be waiting. So what works? What works? How can we apply what we already know? And so everything that I have to say, I know you already know it, but I'm repeating it because that seems to work too. I need to hear it over and over again. So what works? Lower the volume of the world. Isn't that what Jesus said? You know, he lived in a time, his times in Judea was kind of like as if the Taliban or ISIS and the mafia took over the United States. I mean, that's what it was like for him. And he got angry a few times, but not necessarily at the Romans. He got angry at the spiritual leaders of his time, saying, "Look in the mirror, folks," and knocked over the money tables. But he said, "Be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, of your awareness." So what we end up doing almost automatically when we're on the path to inner freedom is we cultivate awe and adoration. We look for it. We go out in nature and go, wow, or each other. We're heart-centered. We tend to meditate, get quiet, listen, be at one. We tend to read and study inspiring material. I don't have a formal practice, but I love reading stuff that makes me go, oh, wow, that's the way I feel. And here's somebody who's written it down and put it into print so I can hold it in my hands and go, yeah, I'm not alone. So things that quiet the mind and bring us into union with our essence in newness and revelation, tailored to the God of your heart's desire. That's where the miracle is. It's like nobody has to say anything. Nobody's making it happen exactly except you to your heart's desire. And I know I've experienced it myself, and I know you do too. Nobody could find the joy that you find in the way that you find it. That's such a gift. So this is the return. God in man, in woman, as man, as woman, as you. So how does this look in everyday life? How do you go around? Me, I wear lead socks. They help keep you grounded, floating away. No, honestly, I joke, but how do you deal with in everyday life as a mystic, as a child of God, as an awakened being? I don't know. You just do what you do, right? Just be you. We tend to become observers of our own thoughts. We tend to refrain from indulging in self-criticism, which then leads to self-compassion. We tend to refrain from complaining. In so doing, we open to gratitude. We tend to slow down worry, which opens the heart to faith and trust. Now, this is stuff, when I talk about this, it's stuff I deal with all the time. It's all in there. It's all in all of us. My mother was a champion warrior, and it turns out I was her son. And I thought, I got to get away from Ma. But as soon as I had grandkids, I thought, oh my God, I've become my mother. So these things come up. They come up. And then you have to stop, stand back and say, okay, just for a minute, I'm gonna make like I don't need to worry. And it gives that little opening to go into faith and trust, and then that becomes proof. Faith and trust lead to knowledge, and knowledge doesn't need faith. It knows itself. And so we stop doubting or lessen the doubt. We don't doubt as much. And so that leads to hope based upon experiential validity. If we experienced it ourselves, if we've experienced the truth ourselves, it becomes knowledge, and we identify ourselves as source and our own authority, which is kind of tricky sometimes in religious settings, because we tend to look up to certain people in authority. But for me, I got to look away. I mean, I love you, I bless you, I honor you, but I got to do it my way. It's a Frank Sinatra thing, you know? So one of the guys I was camping with on the river was the head light technician for Steve Miller for like 30, 40 years. Also did shows for many other people, including Frank Sinatra at the Circle Star Theater. And he said, Frank had some guys come in the beginning, go through, talk to all the people that were involved and say, you listen, you guys, you got to stay back. Don't try to talk to Frank. Just leave him alone. Just do your job, but don't get involved. Don't interfere. Okay, you got it? Okay, everything's good. Anyway, real life stories. And so this guy, Randy, God, just love this guy. His stories are endless. He's been all over the world, all across the country, not only with Steve Miller, but many other groups. But I couldn't really, he's not a spiritual guy, but he's perfect the way he is. So I could sit there and listen to his story, go, oh my God, this is God talking, you know? God who doesn't even know he's God, which made it even, anyway, I digress. Anyway, so we have everything, each of us has a pantry in life, and everything's in it. Everything is in it. Every possibility is in that pantry. So our awakening is that we have choice as to what shall we pull out of that pantry today. And sometimes you pull out something and you open up, you start eating, it's a little moldy, you go, I don't need that, I can put it away. You don't have to finish the jar of moldy peanut butter, I'm telling you. So this is ordinary life stuff, you know. So an ordinary mundane life becomes an inner landscape of our being, becoming undreamed of possibilities. Stuff you just don't realize until it pops up. But where did it come from? Came from within. Spoiler alert. So I want to read a poem that I wrote and put in a book. I got a book. I got a mop. It's the best day of my life. But I don't even know how to get it unless I order it from Amazon. I've lost track of how do you know. So I bought myself a copy. And so I wrote it in, as the author, I wrote it in the male tense, but I'm going to read it using the feminine tense. Because I noticed that, when you go anywhere where there's spiritual studies, it's usually 90% women, 80%. Rare is it 50-50. But it's called, I titled it Ordinary Man. So let's just say ordinary woman. An ordinary woman tills the common soil with proven plow. Standing in an endless field of possible life, she tends a crop extraordinary, abundant, its growth from within, and extends unfenced beyond all plain view. This everyday woman, deliberate in choice of seed, now becomes the harvest of her own nature. The harvest of your own nature, who you are. And so while we're at it, I bought so many copies of The Prophetess by Shalon Harkin, but I realized that I'd only read a few pages. So I opened it up and started reading some more. And I thought, I've got to share this. So I'm going to read from the prophetess just a little bit. The prophetess had arrived. She spoke, and her voice was a cascade of stars. I bring in the wings of my chest the time of the end. It is seated with the time of the new. To enter one is to enter both. The time of the end of the belief, the time of the end is the end of the belief of our unworthiness. It is the end of separation. I am here to chart the path from separation to wholeness. This is the age of reclamation. Nothing that I bring have you not asked for. I am not here to teach you. I am here to enunciate your knowing, to breathe confidence into the intimations of your soul. I am the manifestation of your hidden prayers. I am here to pour holy oil on your light. Old ways of being that no longer serve have made this world a tinderbox. It is time to set it aflame with the wild grace of the awakening truth in your hearts. We are a great mystery in human form. There's a land in the soul that we all dream of and long for. Photos. So the title of the talk was Inner Peace, the Only Peace Possible, exploring possibilities and expanding into manifestation of our heart's one desire, the return. So all that I'm really talking about is the return. And everybody that comes up here and speaks is saying the same thing. There's only one. Everybody's saying it in their own unique way, but the message is the same. So I kind of like to wrap this up. Oh gosh, I'm over time. So I'd like to wrap this up with a brief meditation. So I would ask you to be behind your eyes and relax. And as I say a phrase, repeat it to yourself inwardly. I am that I am. I see. I am seen. I hear. I am heard. I receive. I am received. I know. I am known. I give. I am given. I love. I am loved. I heal. I am healed. The light of peace shines in my heart. I am my highest good. The light of peace is my divine reality, flowing as a river that knows no ocean's end, enveloping the world with my love. I am that I am. I am here. I have come. I am here. Peace be with you as you. Amen.